Chapter 1. The New Assignment. I never imagined the day would come when I would be assigned to teach at Crestwood Academy. It was a prestigious institution, nestled in the heart of a small town surrounded by dense woods. The school had a history as old as the town itself, and rumors whispered of strange occurrences within its walls. As I stepped through the towering gates, a chill ran down my spine. The buildings loomed over me, their windows dark and foreboding. But I pushed aside my unease, determined to make a good impression on my first day. Inside, the hallways seemed to stretch endlessly, lined with lockers that creaked and groaned with age. The air was thick with the scent of old books and mildew. I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched as I made my way to the principal's office. Principal Hawthorne greeted me with a tight smile, his eyes cold and calculating. He seemed relieved to have found a replacement for the previous teacher, who had mysteriously disappeared halfway through the semester. "We're glad to have you join us, Mr. Collins," he said, his voice smooth as silk. "I trust you'll find Crestwood Academy to be an interesting place." I nodded, trying to ignore the sinking feeling in my gut. There was something off about this place, something I couldn't quite put my finger on. Chapter 2. The Haunted History. As the days passed, I delved deeper into Crestwood Academy's history. I discovered tales of students who had vanished without a trace, of teachers driven mad by whispers in the night. Some said the school was built on cursed ground, while others believed it was haunted by the spirits of those who had died within its walls. I tried to dismiss these stories as mere superstition, but the more I learned, the more unsettled I became. There were too many coincidences, too many unanswered questions. One afternoon, as I was grading papers in my classroom, I heard a soft whispering sound coming from the hallway. At first, I thought it was just the wind, but then I realized the windows were shut tight. I cautiously stepped into the hallway, my heart pounding in my chest. The whispering grew louder, swirling around me like a malevolent fog. I couldn't make out the words, but they sent shivers down my spine. Chapter 3. The Dark Secret. I confided my concerns to a colleague, a history teacher named Ms. Blackwell. She listened intently, her eyes wide with fear. "You're not the only one who's noticed something strange about this place," she whispered, glancing over her shoulder, as if afraid of being overheard. "There's a dark secret buried deep within Crestwood Academy, one that's been kept hidden for generations." I leaned in closer, eager to hear more. But before Ms. Blackwell could speak another word, the lights flickered and went out, plunging us into darkness. Panic surged through me as I groped blindly for the door. But before I could reach it, I felt a cold hand close around my wrist, pulling me back into the shadows. Chapter 4. The Unholy Ritual. When the lights came back on, I found myself alone in the classroom. Ms. Blackwell was nowhere to be seen. I searched the school from top to bottom, but there was no sign of her. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. As I retraced my steps, I stumbled upon a hidden staircase leading down into the bowels of the building. Curiosity got the better of me, and I descended into the darkness. What I found at the bottom chilled me to the bone. In a hidden chamber beneath the school, I discovered a circle of candles and strange symbols etched into the floor. In the center stood Principal Hawthorne, his eyes wild with madness as he chanted in a language I did not recognize. I watched in horror as he raised a dagger high above his head, preparing to sacrifice a young girl bound to an altar. And then, as if sensing my presence, he turned to face me with a wicked grin. Chapter 5. The Final Confrontation. With a surge of adrenaline, I lunged forward and knocked the dagger from Principal Hawthorne's hand. He snarled in rage, his eyes blazing with fury. "You shouldn't have come here, Mr. Collins," he spat, his voice dripping with malice. "You've stumbled upon something far beyond your understanding." But I refused to back down. With the help of the girl, we managed to overpower Principal Hawthorne and escape from the chamber. As we emerged into the light of day, I realized the true extent of the evil that lurked within Crestwood Academy. But thanks to my courage and determination, we had managed to thwart its dark intentions. In the end, I made the difficult decision to leave Crestwood Academy behind, knowing that it was no place for me. But the memory of those whispered secrets and hidden horrors would stay with me forever. A chilling reminder of the darkness that lies just beneath the surface of the world we know. The Haunting of Willowbrook Academy. Chapter 1. New Beginnings. I had always heard rumors about Willowbrook Academy, the whispers of its dark past, the tales of unexplained disappearances, and the eerie feeling that lingered in the air. But nothing could have prepared me for the reality of stepping foot inside its crumbling halls. As my parents' car pulled up to the imposing building, I couldn't help but feel a sense of foreboding wash over me. The once grand facade was now marred by years of neglect, the windows boarded up, and the grounds overgrown with weeds. As I stepped through the rusted gates, a chill ran down my spine. The air felt heavy with the weight of secrets long buried, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Chapter 2. The Legend of Willowbrook. The rumors surrounding Willowbrook Academy were as old as the school itself. Some said it was built on ancient burial grounds, while others claimed it was cursed by a vengeful spirit. But the one thing everyone agreed on was that there was something deeply wrong with the place. According to legend, strange occurrences had plagued the school for decades. Students would vanish without a trace, only to reappear days later with no memory of where they had been. Others spoke of ghostly apparitions that roamed the halls at night, their mournful cries echoing through the empty corridors. But despite the warnings, Willowbrook continued to draw in students year after year, its dark allure impossible to resist. Chapter 3. The First Signs. It didn't take long for me to realize that there was truth to the rumors that surrounded Willowbrook. Strange things began happening almost immediately. Books would go missing from my locker, whispers would follow me down the halls, and shadows seemed to move of their own accord. At first, I tried to brush it off as my imagination playing tricks on me. But as the days went by, the incidents grew more frequent and more sinister. I would wake up in the middle of the night to find my room filled with a cold, unnatural breeze, and I could swear I heard voices whispering my name from the darkness. Chapter 4. The Unraveling. Mystery. Desperate for answers, I began to delve into Willowbrook's dark history, searching for clues that might explain the strange occurrences. I spent hours poring over old yearbooks and newspaper clippings, hoping to uncover the truth hidden beneath layers of lies and deception. What I found chilled me to the bone. Decades earlier, a series of unexplained deaths had rocked the school, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. The official explanation was that they were accidents: a student falling down a flight of stairs, a teacher drowning in the school pool. But something about the stories didn't add up. There were whispers of foul play, of a malevolent force that lurked within the shadows of Willowbrook, waiting to claim its next victim. Chapter 5. The Haunting. As the days turned into weeks, the strange occurrences at Willowbrook only grew worse. I began to see things, flickers of movement out of the corner of my eye, fleeting glimpses of figures that vanished as quickly as they appeared. One night, as I lay in bed, I felt a presence in the room with me. I could hear the sound of footsteps echoing down the hall, growing louder and louder until they stopped right outside my door. I held my breath, waiting for whatever was on the other side to reveal itself. But instead of a figure appearing in the doorway, there was only darkness. And then, just as suddenly as it had come, the presence was gone, leaving me alone in the silence of the night. Chapter 6. The Ritual. Determined to put an end to the madness once and for all, I sought out the help of a local historian who had dedicated his life to studying the occult. Together, we uncovered an ancient ritual that was said to banish evil spirits from the mortal realm. Under the cover of darkness, we made our way to Willowbrook, armed with candles, salt, and incantations passed down through generations. As we stood before the school's crumbling facade, we began the ritual, our voices trembling with fear and anticipation. But as the incantations reached their climax, something went terribly wrong. The air grew thick with malevolent energy, and the ground began to shake beneath our feet. I could feel the darkness closing in around me, threatening to consume me whole. Chapter 7. The Final Confrontation. In the chaos that followed, I found myself face to face with the source of Willowbrook's curse, a vengeful spirit that had been trapped within the school's walls for centuries. Its eyes burned with an otherworldly light as it reached out a hand towards me, its touch like ice against my skin. But I refused to back down, my determination to banish the spirit outweighing my fear. With every ounce of strength, I had left. I recited the incantation once more, willing the spirit to leave this world and never return. And then, just like that, it was over. The darkness receded, and the school fell silent once more. I collapsed to the ground, exhausted but victorious, knowing that I had saved Willowbrook from the horrors that had plagued it for so long. Epilogue. As the sun rose on a new day, I stood outside Willowbrook Academy, watching as the last remnants of darkness faded away. The school looked different somehow, brighter, lighter, as if a weight had been lifted from its shoulders. But as I turned to leave, I couldn't shake the feeling that the darkness had not been banished entirely, that it lingered just beneath the surface, waiting for its next opportunity to strike. And so, as I walked away from Willowbrook for the final time, I promised myself that I would never forget the horrors I had witnessed within its walls. For even though the curse may have been broken, the memory of what happened there would live on forever. The Whispering Halls, True Tales of School Horror. In the heart of a small forgotten town lay an old school building. Its facade, weathered by time, stood as a relic of a bygone era. Many whispered tales surrounded this eerie edifice, stories of strange occurrences and inexplicable phenomena that chilled the bones of those who dared to tread its halls. Here are a few of those unsettling accounts. The haunting of Room 13. Legend had it that Room 13 was cursed, the epicenter of inexplicable events that defied rational explanation. It was whispered that once the door creaked open, a chilling wind would blow, even on the stillest of days. Students would often complain of a feeling of being watched, as though unseen eyes followed their every move. One fateful evening, during a late-night study session, a group of brave souls decided to investigate the rumors surrounding Room 13. Armed with flashlights and nerves of steel, they ventured into the dimly lit corridor. As they approached the ominous door, a sudden chill filled the air, causing them to hesitate. Summoning their courage, they pushed the door open, revealing a room engulfed in darkness. Shadows danced along the walls, and the air seemed to thicken with an oppressive weight. Despite their trepidation, they stepped inside, determined to uncover the truth. But as they explored the room, strange occurrences began to unfold. Books flew off shelves, chairs overturned, and whispers echoed through the air. Panic set in as they realized they were not alone. Something malevolent lurked in the shadows, its presence growing stronger with each passing moment. In a desperate bid to escape, they fled the room, their hearts pounding in terror. And though they emerged physically unscathed, they bore witness to horrors that would haunt them for the rest of their days. Room 13 remained a forbidden place, a testament to the darkness that lurked within the heart of the school. The Phantom Pianist. In the school's grand auditorium, an old grand piano stood as a silent sentinel, its keys worn with age. Legend had it that a talented pianist once graced the stage, captivating audiences with his haunting melodies. But tragedy struck one fateful night, when he mysteriously disappeared, leaving behind only his music as a reminder of his existence. Since that day, strange occurrences had been reported in the auditorium. Students claimed to hear the faint strains of piano music echoing through the halls, accompanied by the sound of ghostly footsteps. Some even claimed to have seen a shadowy figure seated at the piano, its fingers dancing across the keys in a macabre symphony. One brave soul, a music aficionado named Emily, dared to investigate the mystery behind the Phantom Pianist. Armed with her curiosity and a burning desire for the truth, she ventured into the auditorium alone one moonlit night. As she approached the grand piano, A sense of unease washed over her, but she pressed on, determined to uncover the source of the haunting melodies. With trembling hands, she reached out and touched the keys, eliciting a discordant note that seemed to resonate through the room. And then, as if in response, the piano came to life, its keys moving of their own accord as if guided by an unseen hand. Emily watched in awe as the music filled the air, a haunting melody that spoke of loss and longing. But as the final notes faded into silence, Emily felt a chill run down her spine. For standing before her was the ghostly figure of the pianist, his eyes filled with sorrow and regret. In that moment, she realized the truth behind the legend. The pianist's spirit was bound to the school, forever condemned to wander its halls in search of redemption. With a heavy heart, Emily bid farewell to the phantom pianist, leaving him to his eternal vigil. And though the mystery of the haunting melodies had been solved, the memory of that encounter would stay with her always, a reminder of the thin veil that separated the living from the dead. The curse of the abandoned playground. Nestled behind the school building lay an abandoned playground, its rusty swings and creaking merry-go-round standing as silent sentinels to a forgotten past. Once a place of laughter and joy, it had long since fallen into disrepair, its faded paint and overgrown weeds serving as a grim reminder of its former glory. But the playground held a dark secret, one that whispered of a curse that had befallen all who dared to set foot within its confines. It was said that those who ventured too close would be consummated by an overwhelming sense of dread, as though the very air itself were tainted by malevolence. One stormy night, a group of adventurous students decided to investigate the playground's sinister reputation. Ignoring the warnings of their peers, they made their way through the overgrown path, their footsteps echoing in the darkness. As they reached the edge of the playground, a sudden gust of wind sent chills down their spines. But they pressed on, determined to uncover the truth. As they explored the dilapidated equipment, they felt an oppressive weight pressing down upon them, as though unseen eyes watched their every move. And then, without warning, the merry-go-round began to spin of its own accord, its rusted hinges groaning in protest. Panic set in as they realized they were not alone. Shadows danced along the walls, and whispers filled the air, echoing the curses of those who had come before. In a desperate bid to escape, they fled the playground, their hearts pounding in terror. But as they emerged into the safety of the moonlit night, they knew that they had been forever changed by their encounter with the cursed playground, and though they would try to forget the horrors they had witnessed, the memory would linger like a specter, a reminder of the darkness that lurked just beyond the school's walls. These are just a few of the chilling tales that haunt the halls of the old school building, each one a testament to the inexplicable mysteries that lie hidden within its depths. And though time may pass and memories may fade, the whispers of the past will continue to echo through the corridors, a haunting reminder of the true horrors that lie within.